Hello and welcome to another video. The channel is called Opinion Duke 305 and my name is Gabriel. This is going to be the last video of the series in San Juan, Puerto Rico from my trip in March 2022. And in this video we're walking on a street called San Francisco in Old San Juan, and we are walking towards the San Juan Cathedral. The San Juan Cathedral is the oldest cathedral in the Western Hemisphere. We're also going to see a beautiful hotel that is a former convent called El Convento, which means the convent in Spanish. As we're walking there, we are going to pass by a restaurant called Bari. You can see it here, and Bari is an Italian restaurant, pizza, mostly a pizza place. They have other things as well. Their pizza is wonderful and the place is gorgeous with a courtyard, and I'll be showing you videos of that later when I went there for lunch. We can already see in this video towards the end that yellow and white building is El Convento, the former convent that is now a beautiful hotel. And to our right, we're seeing the steps that lead up to the San Juan Cathedral. San Juan Cathedral is as old as the city. It celebrated 500 years in 2021. El Convento, the hotel that used to be a Carmelite convent, we also saw it in the San Juan at night video, but at night this is what it looks like in the daytime. It's a gorgeous hotel, and it functioned as a convent for 300 years, and it was somewhat abandoned for decades at the beginning of the 20th century, and then an heir to the Woolworth fortune turned it into a hotel that opened, I believe it was 1959, 1960, and it's been functioning as a hotel ever since. It used to be called El Convento Hotel, and now it's called Hotel El Convento. So it's a small variation in the name, mainly in the order of the words. There's a beautiful park right in front of the El Convento, and it's framed by the cathedral on one side, hotel on the other, and a couple of other gorgeous buildings as well. The hotel is very centrally located in Old San Juan, and it is a great option if you are staying there and if you want to enjoy a landmark of a place. The rooms seem very comfortable. I looked into pricing, and they're about $300 a night during high season, which is the winter months. They're much cheaper the rest of the year. I think it's worth it. I did not stay there though, but I did see inside, and it has a beautiful courtyard. Now you can enjoy the amenities such as the restaurant and the bars, even if you're not staying there. And this is me inside the hotel, showing you some of that. In this case, we're looking at the bar that is there. I believe there's actually two bars in the hotel, and that's a restaurant as well that you can eat at. I have never eaten there. I've had drinks at the hotel. That day I actually thought about having lunch there, but eventually ended up leaving and going to Bari down the street. That's the lobby of the hotel. It's all very, very nice. I believe the hotel also has a small pool and hot tub. I think I saw that on their website, but I did not see them. I believe those areas might be restricted to guests, maybe in a rooftop. As I'm walking around Old San Juan, I'm always remembering Cuba, Old Havana, and always thinking that all the beauties we see in Old San Juan, we could have had in Cuba had things not gone south with our terrible dictatorship that took power in 1959 and eliminated private property and completely ruined the economy. Today in Cuba, while you can enjoy some beautiful hotels and some of the museums and historical sites that are well preserved, when you move into the places that could also be gorgeous, where people live, all you'll find is destruction and poverty. Unfortunately, communism only creates destruction. All the beautiful things in Cuba were created before communism. The few things that you find that are beautiful were built by capitalist dollars coming from places such as Spain, investments from foreign countries that the dictatorship had to accept. Okay, so we're moving towards La Casa Blanca, or the White House, but on our way there, this is a quick view of La Fortaleza. The gray building you see in the back is like a light blue or gray building, is the official residence of the governor of Puerto Rico. And it has this beautiful park here and this little residential neighborhood overlooking the park. We'll see La Fortaleza again from the top of the hill where La Casa Blanca is. We're headed up there, and as we walk, you can start to see in the distance where that arrow is, a place called La Casa Rosada, or the Pink House. It's one of the oldest buildings in Old San Juan. But we're also walking towards La Casa Blanca, or the White House. It is the main course of this video, a pièce de résistance, if you will. You can see it there where the arrow is. It was built in 1521, and it served as the first fortification of the San Juan islet. It was the residence for Juan Ponce de Leon and his family, and also his cousins. Although Ponce de Leon died in an expedition to Florida without ever getting to occupy the structure. It was used as the residence of his descendants until the mid-18th century. I'll tell you that if you're using your GPS to find it, it'll be a little confusing because this was my experience anyway, but also my friend that had a GPS as well experienced the same thing. It'll take you to this area, it'll take you up this hill, and at some point it'll say that you're there because in a way you're feet away from it. However, you also have this 20 feet tall wall or higher. I don't even know how tall it is, but I certainly can't climb it. And the answer is that to get there you have two ways. You have the way that we'll see in this video, but you could also keep walking up this hill, and as you walk up you'll see the Pink House on the left, and you keep going up, and then you'll get to an esplanade and you'll see the big Castillo San Felipe, which is one of the big castles across the way, and then on your right you'll see the Fine Arts Institute. And if you go to the right towards the Institute and you keep bordering that street, eventually you'll get to the entrance to the White House. However, we're not going to do that in this video. We'll turn around and we'll go up the hill a different way through the town. It's a way that you would get there if you were already in the town. Now, if you plan on seeing the castle and the Fine Arts Institute, then going up that hill is a good option as well. But it's not the option that we followed in this video. We're gonna go up the hill, and then we'll actually pass a gate that is an entrance to the Casa Blanca, but it's not an open entrance. At least it wasn't open when we passed it. And then we'll go through some of the homes in the town, some of the buildings, and eventually you'll see we'll get to a street that has steps up, and that's when you know to make a left. It's actually your first left after this. I'm actually walking up steps now. As you could tell, the White House, the Casa Blanca, is up on a hill. So you walk through this sidewalk, and you walk up these little steps, and you keep walking, and eventually you're going to find your first left. And your first left is a street that has steps, several steps up. And that's the one that's going to take you to where you want to go. So it's very easy to get there. It's very hard to get lost because I didn't know how to get there. I just figured I'm trying to approach the White House, and I'm going up and I'm looking for my first left, and sure enough you find it, and that is the right way to go. But honestly, if you got lost, look at this. There's no place in town that's not a gift to your eyes. So walk and you'll probably find the place, but if you don't find it, eventually you will find it, and in the meantime you'll get to enjoy a beautifully preserved, magnificent piece of history that is a gift to humanity, really. And it's very safe, it's very beautiful, it's very enjoyable. I do always tell people, if you go in the summer, then you probably want to do this type of thing in the evening when it's not so sunny, because it's probably going to be hot. The winter months for them are November through March, I would say, and it's not going to be cold. Most likely it's going to be in the 70s, and some days maybe even in the 80s. But for the most part, it's going to be very tolerable and nice. And those are the best times to go. As I was walking up the steps, I noticed this door that has a sign asking for donations, and they have like a mailbox slot that you can use to put donations. And it's a society that takes care of fixing all the cats in the area. There are a lot of cats, and I guess they feed them, but they also have them operated so that they can't reproduce as much. And they don't, because otherwise it probably would be a pest. I did this walk in the morning. It's a weekday, so as you can tell, it's very quiet. Personally, I think that Old San Juan should have millions of tourists all the time. I'm glad that it doesn't, because it makes for a much more enjoyable experience. I'm sure that there are certain dates of the year that are way more popular, but this was still during high season in March, so you can definitely still enjoy the town during some of the best time of the year weather-wise without finding a million tourists everywhere. I think there's still a lot of people that don't really know what they're missing and perhaps go to Puerto Rico and only stay at the beach. Puerto Rico has beautiful beaches and definitely worth enjoying. But in my case, I live in Florida. I have beaches close to me. So even though I have gone to Puerto Rico and stayed by the beach and enjoyed it, I now prefer to go and enjoy things that I can enjoy at home. And speaking of that, we are approaching the Casa Blanca. This is the main entrance, and you can see the sign saying La Casa Blanca. I was pointing the camera over there to show you that right in the distance you can see the Castillo San Felipe. But we're gonna go in, and what's interesting is in the first part of this video, we are going to be walking the grounds of La Casa Blanca, and the grounds are gorgeous, gorgeous gardens with beautiful fountains. And the kicker is, this access is completely unrestricted and completely free. There's a library here. I did not go in, but it's supposed to be a library in there. But all these access is completely free. You can go in there any day of the week. We actually went, this was a Monday morning, but we were there the day before on a Sunday, and there were a few people, but really not that many. So you can enjoy it and relax there, and it's just gorgeous, and you don't even have to pay a penny. Now, if you want to access the main building, the inside of the building, you do have to pay, but it is only $5. Totally worth it. You'll see in the video everything that you can see in there. There's a lot of furniture from the time. I don't know if any of it is actually original furniture or just furniture that was brought in that was from the time. I would only be guessing. I haven't done research on that. But either way, it's definitely very interesting to see the way they have the rooms set up. There's these buildings that face the grounds of La Casa Blanca, and I don't know if they're residential, if they're maybe office buildings. I did not try to find that out, but those are not the main buildings that you visit during your museum visit. Now this is one of the most gorgeous areas in my opinion, and it has these gorgeous fountains and benches, and you can just sit there and relax. And I didn't do it, but I could see myself grabbing some food to go and just sitting in that bench and enjoying it. And I can't think of a better experience. And like I said, it is completely free. I think this is one of the best kept secrets of Old San Juan. Of course, now that my video, I'm sure it's going to go viral. There's going to be millions of people in here. That's what I was laughing about, by the way. And that's what I was saying in my Spanish audio original from this video. I promise you in future videos, and there's actually a whole set of videos coming up in Colombia, and I recorded a lot in English, so you'll actually see me speaking live from location as opposed to this voiceover. Now, you know, the advantages with the voiceover: less noise, better audio, so we're gonna keep walking, and we're gonna pass the entrance to the museum, and we're going to explore the rest of the grounds. See, beyond that gate is the entrance to the museum, and that's where you would pay. And later on in this video I'll show you the inside of the museum. But for now we're gonna go back out to the grounds, the front grounds, or the grounds that face the water rather. And those are gorgeous as well. And there's even a community garden there, from what I could tell. As we walk down, I'm going to point out the Fine Arts Institute that you can see. It's that yellow building there, and the arrow will show you where it is. And that sort of gives you a perspective as to where this building is if you're up on the esplanade where the Castillo San Felipe is. Here you can see how all this gorgeous water is visible from up here. Before we were down below that wall. You see the edge of the wall there. Again, all of this access is completely unrestricted. There are no guards or anybody trying to tell you can go there without paying. You don't pay anything. You can hang out there as long as you want and nobody bothers you. Look at that view. You can't beat that. And we'll keep walking towards the edge, and from there you can catch glimpses of La Fortaleza. La Fortaleza is the official residence of the current governor of Puerto Rico. La Casa Blanca is a museum, and it is property of the government of Puerto Rico. It was handed to them in 1967. For years, this building was increasingly in disuse until after World War II, it was rescued by the Puerto Rican Institute of Culture. The surrounding gardens were planted by General Brooks, the first American military governor of the island in the 20th century. Thank you, General Brooks, for this beautiful gift. Look at this. This is also part of that free access. I was walking and doing all this, and I couldn't believe myself. I was like, someone's gonna come by and ask me for my ticket, and no one did. It's one of those things that you think it's a dream, but it's not. It's reality, and you have to pinch yourself. Notice those cannonballs on the floor there on the ground. I don't know, I wonder if they were ever used. Of course they would have had to fish them out of the ocean if they had been, but they seem original. They seem pretty legit to me. Okay, from here you start to catch the first glimpses of La Fortaleza, but don't worry, we'll have better views once we go inside the building and we look over from the windows up at the top. Okay, so we finally spent the $5 and we are inside the museum, and it really is great. You get to enjoy all these beautiful artifacts that are inside this building. I don't know if any of them were there originally or if they were all brought in, but they do feel very legit, and it's a great experience. Look at the utensils in the kitchen, the pots, the pans. Pretty cool. You can also, with the museum access, you get access to a lot of those balconies and terraces, and you get wonderful views of the town from up there. You can see why it was meant to be the governor's house, because it's a great point to see the town from up there, especially obviously the bay. Here I was joking that this was our Airbnb. Would have been cool. I don't know how comfortable that mattress is, but I would have endured it just to say that I did it, at least for one night. Look at that view. I think I would have probably not slept anyway. Just stood there the whole night. I'm sure it's gorgeous at night. I can't imagine. This is like a small chapel that they have in there. In another bedroom with a smaller bed. And all the bedrooms have that gorgeous bay view. And I'm sure that even in the summer you get a nice breeze flowing through those windows. It was definitely very nice when we were there. So here you can see a lot of rooftops from one of the windows in the upper room. That is La Fortaleza, but we'll get to see it again when we head out. There's a lot of information. I didn't have a lot of time, so I took pictures and I filmed and I said I'm gonna read it all later, but I haven't. Maybe you can pause the video and read it for me. Look at those balconies. They're supposed to be Canary Island style. That's what I read. As we look around, then we get a better view of La Fortaleza. The best view you can get from this building is from this balcony here. And then you can also see the street that we walked up to get to where we are. That was basically the inside of the building. This is another view of the grounds before we head out from La Casa Blanca. And I will show you where I had lunch. Not that day, but the day before. There's a pizza place that I recommended at the beginning of this video. This was the delicious pizza pie that I was going to devour all by myself, but lucky for me, my friend Justin came to the rescue and split it with me. A lot of these places in Old San Juan, you enter them and you find this huge courtyards. It's like a whole new world waiting to be explored. Most of the tables at Bari are in the courtyard. They also have the bar that you saw up there. The lunch was delicious and the prices are right, so it made a lot of sense. And just like that delicious pizza ended, so did my vacation. These are the last takes of my apartment that I rented for 5 days in Old San Juan. It was such a nice experience. I was literally steps away from the Plaza de Armas, and the apartment itself brought me a lot of memories because a lot of the details of the construction reminded me of the place where I grew up, our family house in Cuba, and it was emotional to leave, to say goodbye. Okay, so after my dramatic exit, I wanted to show you that we always have to come back to collect our cameras, no matter how dramatic the exit. So I was wondering if you felt the same way I do when I watch those scenes. Okay, before you get depressed, I wanted to give you a little taste of what's coming. Colombia, my dear Colombia, a country that I've visited now almost 10 times. and I plan on visiting many more times. I love Colombia. There's so much to see. It's such a beautiful country, so gorgeous, and I can't wait to show it to you. So I hope you stick around. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you soon.